I don't believe these guys want to pick her up. Here we go. We got a fella gonna pick one up for us here. Don't let him jump back in the river now. All right, that's a nice sized fish. I see there, James. You can take lessons. Look here, we got one coming in, James. Here we go. We're gonna see what we got here. There he is, right down below, James. Coming up with him now. That's what you call being on the spot. Paul Heath ought to be here for his local outdoors show. Another big cat. How about it? Well, there you go. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Looks like we might have brought these people some good luck, James. They're doing pretty good right now. What's your name?
Roger Moore.
Is that the first one you brought in today?
No, I brought in about 3.
Well, that's mighty good. Another one coming up there, James. Got away. I saw him when he got loose. Got one on the other pole over here. There you go, you got you another one. A lot of people having fun down here fishing this kind of cloudy Saturday. Water looks good for fishing, but the wind is up kind of high. It's a lot of fun, even if the size is not too big, I guess, there, James. That's probably better luck than we could have, huh?
Right.
Okay, let's let them get back to their fishing. We'll go around and see if we can't catch up with them. We're at the courthouse in Pittsburgh. First of all, I'd like to get you men to give us your names and your official capacities.
All right, I'm DeWitt Spencer, and I'm Secretary of Calhoun County Democratic Executive Committee, and this is Mr. Aubrey Enochs, and he's Vice Chairman of the Executive Committee and a member of the Credentials Committee that's here today at this time going over our vote countywide. What we had today was the presidential precinct caucuses for the Democratic Party of the state of Mississippi, and we voted at each precinct beginning at 10 o'clock this morning. From 10 to 10:30 people came in and wrote their name on the roster and who they wanted to vote for out of all the candidates or uncommitted. And we had, what, 25 precincts, right, Mr. Enos?
Right,
countywide who should have voted. We had one precinct that didn't have any participants. We had participants at all the other precincts, and we don't know exactly how many total voters, Democrats and all, came out. But we had 28 votes to the county convention that were to be voted at the caucuses. Each preference had to get at least 10% of the people participating in order to elect a delegate to the county convention, which will be held March 31st here at the courtroom in Pittsburgh. The way it turned out, as I said, we had one precinct that didn't have any participants, so their vote will be subtracted from the total, so we'll have 27 total votes to be cast at the county convention the 31st. And Hart got 7.4 votes, precinct votes, of those 27 votes. Jackson got 1.04 votes of the 27. Mondale led the county with 9.83 votes, and uncommitted ran second with 8.73 votes at the county convention. Now, as it stands now, if when the Credentials Committee finishes their work, and this is preliminary, but we're pretty sure these figures are right. As it stands now, the Jackson delegates will have to throw in with one of the other three preferences, either Hart, Mondale, or uncommitted, in order to go on and elect delegates to the district and state convention. In other words, they have to have 10% of the votes to be cast at the convention in order to go further, and of course they don't have 10% as it stands now. So we'll meet the 31st. The delegates, generally 4 delegates and 4 alternates were elected for each vote at each precinct. We had 3 precincts: East Bruce, Calhoun City District 1, and West Bruce, who got 2 votes to the county convention. All other precincts got 1 vote. And generally 4 people were supposed to represent those votes as delegates at the convention. In some places we didn't have enough people participating to have 4 delegates for each vote, and so in some instances one delegate will represent an entire vote.
Mr. Enix, I understand you're on another committee here. Elaborate on that and tell us what that committee does.
Well, this is the Credentials Committee, who will in turn will check the credentials of the delegates to the county convention to be sure that they are properly certified.
Then our next move will be for the county convention, is that right?
That's right, which will be March 31st here in Pittsburgh, courthouse.
10 o'clock.
All right, what about public participation in that?
Okay, we encourage everybody that's interested at all to come out. In fact, it's usually a fun thing. We vote. First thing we'll do is elect a permanent chairman and secretary. L.H. Johnson will be the temporary chairman, and I'll be temporary secretary. And first order of business will be to elect permanent convention chairman and secretary. Otis Crocker is the chairman of the Credentials Committee, and people who are delegates will come by the credentials desk, and they will check their credentials and make sure that they have their delegate credentials and that their percentage of vote is correct, and then they'll be seated in a reserved area, and the rest of the courtroom will be for visitors, anybody that wants to come. And we've asked Jamie Whitten to speak at the convention, and he hasn't called us back to let us know definitely if he can, but it'll be a fun thing. We'll elect delegates to the congressional district meeting, convention, Democratic convention, and I think that's in Oxford, Mr. Enoch.
I believe it is.
I believe
that's right. I think
that's in April, and then the state convention will be in May in Jackson, and the county convention will elect delegates to those 2. They'll be the same people, delegates to both the congressional district and the state Democratic convention.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for talking to us. And
Appreciate your comment.
all right, good to be here. And that's the way it shapes up from the circuit clerk's office in Pittsburgh at the courthouse. This is Gene Redwine for News 7.
Thank you, Gene. Appreciate you. Y'all want a copy of this?
You have an extra?
Yeah. Zilla. Is that machine still on up there?
How fast do your car go? How many of you ride three-wheelers? Anybody? The most dangerous thing in the state of Mississippi. Did you know? Did you know we lose more young people under the age of 12 on three-wheelers? Put your hand down. Than on any, whether cars or anything else. Last week, 1719 was killed in Brookhaven District on three-wheelers on the highway. That's against the law. You can't ride them on the highway, young people. But they do, don't they? Yes, they do. You do too. Now, if I catch you out there, you know what Pete's going to do? Yes, I will. Listen, you'll die. They hit a truck. 7 years old and 9 years old. They had as much business on a three-wheeler on the highway as I do driving a jet airplane. Don't let those things will kill you. Please be careful with them. They're the most dangerous things I've ever invented for young people. Because they say, they won't turn it on. They will. Now, how many of you look over the shoulder and see your mom and daddy going over 55? Yeah, what's speed limit? What's speeding? 56 is speeding, teachers. Now, how many of you adults wear your seat belt? Good thing you fell in love at 7. You may not make it long, lady. Huh? Did you know, young people, I've never unbuckled a dead man in my life? There's room to live in that automobile. You won't see me driving my patrol car without my seatbelt on. You know why? Because I've watched what happens to too many folks that's been involved in a wreck. Did you know that a little old baby that's 25 pounds, how much he weighs in a 50-mile-an-hour crash? I have, when my little boy was little, he'd stand up beside his daddy, and if I hit my brakes, I'd put my hand over like that. That little 25-pound baby turns into 4,000 pounds. No way you can hold it. Then you look back and say, oh, if I'd just had him buckled in, he'd still be mine. Now, young people, wear your seatbelt. Encourage mother and daddy to wear your seatbelt. You say, well, I don't know, but I can't see out. You may not be able to see nothing forever if you don't be careful. And then remember that's what education is all about, is teaching others. Any other questions? Yeah. No, well, I don't know. It was 2,200 put in application. My school was 32 people. Yes, it's pretty hard. Well, no, it's not hard. My parents did it. Yeah. Well, all my life, they've just been paying me 13 years. I mean, when I was a little fella, I'd chase folks on my bicycle. I love it. I really did. Yeah. If I did. I went to school 2 days, they whooped my dog, and I never did go back. I wish
Studios today talking to Mr. Pete Collins. You just saw him on the footage. He gave the speech to the Bruce High School and Bruce Elementary classes. Mr. Collins, if you could, just give us a brief summary of what you're doing, what you're trying to get across to the kids in the schools.
First thing we try to do is simply try to impress upon them their responsibility as being a citizen of the state of Mississippi and, of course, as a citizen of the United States. We have found ourselves, as I've traveled throughout the United States, that a lot of young people just simply take for granted that they live in America, that all the freedoms, all the privileges that we have are just there. And we try, as a part of the Mississippi Highway Patrol, not only to try to teach them public safety, but also public responsibility.
Okay, of course, you just saw a little bit of the footage, and Mr. Collins doing an excellent job. Do you do this throughout the state? Are you the only one, or?
Each district has a public affairs officer. There are 9 districts throughout the state of Mississippi, and of course there are 9 public affairs officers. I work out of the Starkville office. Of course, I personally live in Attala County, but I travel all over the state of Mississippi. I traveled about 75,000 miles last year doing this. talked to a little over 104,000 people. It's just endless amount of opportunity to talk to young folks. I've gone all over the south part of the United States and spoke to a lot of national organizations, just trying to help folks to realize that life's not forever, and we need to enjoy every day just like it was the last day we'd ever live.
Now, the footage you just saw was the footage from the elementary program when you spoke to the elementary students, but the program for the high school students was a lot different, and I guess you'll agree with this. Not enough people realize the problem we have with, you mentioned teenage alcoholics. Could you maybe give us some statistics on that?
Well, the thing that I think is most alarming is that we have taken for granted too long that sooner or later the problem with alcohol, whether in adults or youth, will go away, but it's not. In fact, it's becoming such a tremendous problem nationwide that in Mississippi alone, we know that 62% of the people killed every year are killed by drunks. If we lived on the Gulf Coast in Harrison, Hancock, or Jackson counties, 95% of the people killed down there killed by drunks. Statistics of this morning, there have been over 26,000 drunks locked up in Mississippi since 1st of July of 1983. We know that for every one we lock up, 2,000 gets away. So drunk driving is a tremendous problem throughout the state and throughout our nation. And hopefully these type programs that we do for adults in senior high will help us to realize that we've got a problem, and the only way to address a problem is to go head on into it.
Mr. Collins, talking to people throughout the county, it seems they don't realize that drunk driving is now a major offense. Could you go over the penalty for when you're caught driving drunk?
Right. Well, first of all, the most important thing we need to remember is that if you are convicted of DUI, you're going to lose your driver's license for at least 45 days. I mean, the President of the United States doesn't have you lose your license for 45 days, even if it's your first offense. You lose your license for 90 days if you will go to the MASAP school, which is the Alcohol Educational Program, and you'll be able to retain your license after 90 days. Of course, you can go through a circuit court order and get your license returned in 45 days. Other than that, you're going to lose them for a year. Second offense, mandatory jail time. In most counties in the state, first offense is jail time until you sober up. I have a personal feeling that I have never worked an accident where somebody was killed that a drunk wasn't involved and caused the accident. So alcohol is a major problem. It's going to cost you $250 first time. Well, money's not the problem. Folks will find the money, but you start putting them in jail, and you're going to hear a lot of folks hollering. I'm hoping that the people in the viewing audience will be very aware of the efforts now being made throughout Mississippi to try to weaken the drunk driving law we have now, because a lot of comments are saying our jails are too crowded. We just don't have time. We just don't have the place to put people in jail. My opinion of it is that if folks are sick, let's get them help. But if they're drunk, let's get them off the road. Let's keep them from killing our families and ourselves.
I'd like to thank you for coming down today, Mr. Collins, and I'd just like to say Mr. Collins is doing an excellent job. I listened to the program this morning. We talked to the high school students, a very excellent job. Wish you a lot of luck, and you know now, it came from the horse's mouth, I guess you can say, drunk driving is a serious offense in Mississippi, and it's something that I just wouldn't do. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Collins. That's the way it is here in the studios at W07BN.
What? Mr. Stokes, I'd like to present you with a 10-year pin. And here's your card, and George Warehouser, a sticker for your hat. Congratulations on 10 years of service. Really appreciate that. Shake my hand. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, but I ain't got that many years.
I don't know. You don't look that old. Yeah. I'd have said maybe 52. You missed that picture, didn't you? Take me up to and there's your card and picture of the cake. Congratulations. Thank you. Appreciate your service. Good. You can be there around another 10 more, huh? Good, Diamond? Okay. Good. So do I. That's great. Thank you very much.
That one. You're not looking at me, but... Do I have to take Mr. Stokes?
Here.
Either one of them. Either one of them. I'm sure with this group we can get somebody to eat some of it. So.
Okay. You can't have it on today. All right. Dig in, you know.
Okay, first of all, this is R.D. Fox. R.D., what do you do here?
Run number 2 separator.
What did you start out at?
I started out at forklift driving.
Have you been through several different jobs or been pretty steady?
Chop saw.
Okay, how do you feel about having your 10 years in?
I feel good. Hope I can get 10 more years.
Okay, maybe you can. Hope you can. Mr. J.B. Stokes, what's your position here?
Maintenance, millwright.
I understand you've gone several years also without an accident. How many was that?
7, really.
How does a man go 47 years without having an accident at work?
Well, you got to be careful. You got to look at everything you do. Size it out. That's the trouble around here. People will just jump into something and that's it.
Need to take a little more time.
That's right. A little bit more time. I see these operators turn these machines on and not know what, they don't even know what's cut or not. That's true.
All right, how do you feel about your 10 years being in now?
I feel good about them, but I feel fortunate that I've made 10 years. I won't make 10 more.
Well, I don't know. You might. You look like you're good for a few more miles.
Yeah, but I got a lot of miles on.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. From the Warehouser plant of Bruce, Mississippi, this is Gene Redwine for News 7.
Give me a hand, boy. Give me a hand. All right, now, how about it, Redwine?
On behalf of Hawkins Ford Mercury here in Calhoun City, I'm very happy to announce the winners of our Little Mr. and Miss T-Bird contest and to award them their prizes at this time. Little Mr. T-Bird is Trent Edmondson from Vardaman, the son of Joe and Melissa Edmondson. And Trent, I'd like to give you a $50 savings bond and your trophy. And your mother and dad will be getting a 17 by 20 portrait very shortly of you for being the winner of Little Mr. T-Bird contest. Trent really likes that trophy. All right, we have Derica Davis, the daughter of Buddy and Patina Davis of Calhoun City. She's Little Miss T-Bird. And Derica, on behalf of Hawkins Ford Mercury, I'd like to present you with a trophy and a $50 savings bond. And want to congratulate both of y'all on being our winners of our first contest, and we hope to make this an annual contest. We had over 1,400 people to come into our dealership and vote on these two children, and we're real proud that they are the winners of our Little Mr. and Miss T-Bird contest. And we're looking forward to doing this again next year. Would either one of you children like to say something? What would you like to say?
I don't know.
You don't know. Are you proud to be Little Miss T-Bird? You're not. How about you, fella? I believe you're just cutting teeth right now. Their mothers like to say anything? Joe, you may have to edit that out. I appreciate y'all being patient with us. Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank y'all.
Clinton, on behalf of Weyerhaeuser, I'd like to present you this plaque in recognition of your time here with us, 11 years, and really appreciate the good work, the good service you put in here. Sorry to see you retire. That's good for you, I guess. Not too good for
That's right.
Good.
I enjoyed it up to now.
Up till now. Well, we're a little sorry to see you go, but I guess that happens.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
I think when a fellow get age, about 65, he's supposed to retire and do something else.
what you going to do?
If he's able. Well, gardening,
Gardening. Okay. Fish, okay. That sounds like fun.
Huh?
Fun, okay. Congratulations. Shake my hand.
So,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Camera girl.
Stand by. 5, 4, 3. With us in the studios this afternoon is Valerie Atkinson. Valerie was the winner of our drawing we held here on TV7's News yesterday afternoon. She won this TV set as part of a recent survey we ran dealing with the programming here on TV7. Valerie, how are you today?
All right.
Real good. How'd you feel when you heard that you had won this TV set?
I was surprised.
Did you see the newscast or some of your friends tell you?
No, I just got out of school and my mother met me up there at the square.
Mm-hmm. Do you live here in Bruce, or?
Yes.
Oh, is this the first time you've ever won anything like this?
Yes, it is.